Good evening, guys. Rusty here, back for Impact Dynamics Live. I hope you guys are going well. What are we, Wednesday today? Just to keep some sort of normality to the thing, we try and say the day name, even though I have to look it up before we start the show. I hope your Wednesday has been, is it Wednesday? Now I'm second guessing myself. Yeah, I think it's Wednesday. I hope your Wednesday has been wonderful. We've got a very exciting show tonight with Simo from Honey HQ. So for those who are perhaps a little bit sensitive, probably not the one to watch, I suspect. But anyway, it's always good fun with Simo. I can see he's getting into the rum, so this will be good. I am doing the same thing. So if you haven't seen the Long Gun Project, Ben, who was on last night, he put up a new video today where he went and toured Lithgow Arms. So if you haven't seen that, go and see that. That was excellent. Well done, Ben. Good job. Good video. And I look forward to seeing that. I reckon that's going to be your most popular video. I reckon that's going to be really good. Speaking of YouTube, I noticed today we're about 9 subscriptions away from 3,000 or something ridiculous. So if you happen to not be subscribed, you are watching this, if you wouldn't mind, would love to have you on board and hit subscribe. Let's see if we can push 3,000 during the show. It would be absolute credit to Simo if we can do that. That'd be great. Anyway, I'm passing the blame/glory to him. Also tonight, Projectile Warehouse sponsoring the show. 5% off at Projectile Warehouse. I did notice some guys starting to use that code, which is awesome. So ID Live, ID LIVE with the number 5 on the end. ID Live 5, and that'll get you 5% off site wide at Projectile Warehouse. Still shipping orders, still going out, still going everywhere. So jump on that and grab yourself some stuff while you can, while it's still around, because things are starting to get a little bit lower at some of the suppliers. But anyway, that's the way things are. Hope you guys are well. We'll just jump in the chat. Let's see if there's anything else in. There's a lot of congratulations, Ben's, and good videos and all that sort of gear. So yes, he did an excellent job. Highly recommend. If you haven't subscribed to him, let's get him to 3,000 as well. That'd be nice if that happened during the show, but I don't think we got that many viewers who watch this show to be able to make that happen. Sorry, Ben. Next time. What else have we got going on? Ben and I did do a little video about the weirdest shooting positions, and so that will be coming up later this week. It takes a while for those videos to upload out in the middle of Western New South Wales. Hence, like that Lithgow video, he actually finished about 2 weeks ago, and every time we've done a stream, he's had to pause the upload, and then we do the stream, and he gets it back on. About 2 weeks of video for him to upload it. So good old NBN. It's all going on. Anyway, tonight's guest, Simo. If you're not familiar with Simo, you bloody well should be. Simo is the lead host, one of the man behind the Honey HQ podcast. If you haven't checked that out, it is excellent. Greg, who used to be on the Precision Shooting podcast, is on there as he was there from the start. And the Rum Baron, who is our provider of all things rum, and probably several other things, good laughs and amusement. He gets completely blind, and then they start the recording, and it's wonderful. So they talk about hunting they talk about hunting as much as we talk about precision shooting. So a bit, but not everything. And it is well worth a listen. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the general streams. So make sure you jump onto that. But before you go off and actually do that, because you can do that while you're watching. But we have Simo on the line, so to speak, on the Zoom, and he is ready to go. G'day, Simo. How you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. You've got me on the spot, so to speak.
That's what we do, mate. That's what we do. We're going to get you up in here. And what's happening in northern South Australia type area?
Well, I've been trying to track down the very few deer that live up here without much success so far.
Okay.
I've been going hard, and I've seen one little mob of a little, probably a 2-year-old stag and a couple of his little girlfriends, and that's about it. No croaking. I've seen one very piss poor to average scrape. So it's hard going, but I'm new to the area, so
okay,
and I've only got access to a couple of couple of properties at this point too. So I'm just trying to feel out the backyard and
trying to
see what's going down.
Do what you can, because you're about what 3 hours north of Adelaide. How far are you? It's a hike.
Yeah, depending on the day, it's about 3 hours. But we're in the Southern Flinders.
Yeah, beautiful spot.
So yeah.
It's
lovely, and especially now. Sorry, my phone's not on silent.
Oh, you're popular,
especially now. This time of year when it starts to cool down, it's glorious. And we'll first get the first little bit of rain. It's lovely, and so it goes from a sort of as it's wheat country. So we at the moment all the crops are down and it's very blustery and dusty and shit like that. So you get a couple of rain, the cockies get out and start reaping the fields, and it goes green really quickly, and then it's lovely. And so you can wear shorts all year round pretty much.
Okay, very good, mate. It's nice place to be. Yeah, and how's the podcast dealing with this current scenario we find ourselves in?
Yeah, well, we've had to be pretty creative, much like yourself. So the other day we had Barron's got the gear down in Adelaide because that's where we generally record.
Yeah, because you normally work down this way for a few days a week, and so
that's right. For my teaching gig, but at the moment I'm teaching from home, so that's pretty awesome. And so I've really got no desire or need to go to Adelaide at present. So the other night we had the Barron's phone Bluetooth to the Rodecaster.
Yes.
And then Greg and I conference called into his phone.
Right. Okay.
And I haven't heard the recording yet. And I think it seemed to work pretty well. Like all the levels, the 3 levels seemed to go pretty good. Mm-hmm. But the Baron was well and truly into his 67% Hampton estate. So,
so normal podcast.
Yeah. But given that he was sitting at the controls of the Rodecaster, he was kind of responsible for hosting. So the wheels weren't greased. Well, his wheels were greased very well, but ours weren't greased all that well at all.
Gotcha.
So it was a little bit clunky, but we're trying to work on a way to get around it because, as far as I can tell, or as far as the SA UniSA is, all indications are that we're not going to be teaching face to face for quite some time. So
find a solution. I found out today, by the way, listening to another podcast, that Zoom, which is what we're chatting on, will actually record. You can set it up that it will record the audio from each member separately on a separate channel. Which, being a podcast editor, that becomes very exciting. No one else in the world cares except us when we're going, oh, wow, that's excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Especially when you've got a softly spoken Greg who needs his own channel so he can, boost it up a little bit.
Absolutely, mate. Speaking of Zoom, by the way, to our people who are watching this, tonight being Wednesday night, we will be doing our Zoom hangout afterwards. So towards the end of the show, some numbers will come up on the screen. That will be the room number or whatever, however Zoom works. That'll come up. So about 5 minutes or so after the show, we'll kick that room off and have a yak for whoever's around. So if you want to join in and show your face and talk and show off your guns and do all that sort of thing, it was really good last week. So we're going to do it again. So grab a rum and enjoy what Simo has to say for the next little while, and then we will all stare at each other and be awkward about it. Look forward to it.
Well, I am mindful that your shows are generally a little bit more family friendly. So I will try and.
You haven't watched them all, then, mate.
Oh, that's good. So I don't have to hold off on the dick jokes, and that's good. That's good.
Start them. Get them going. I was going to say whip them out, but maybe don't. All right. Cool. Now, Hunting HQ. Obviously, I mean, the giveaways in the title, you've named it well. But hunting's been the big focus for you guys, and one of the big things is heading over to Victoria and doing your annual hunt. How was that last year?
Yeah, that was well. We had a great time last year because we finally cracked the Samba code.
Mm-hmm.
So Barry and I have been chasing Samba, or interested in Samba anyway, because our bread and butter in South Australia is a lot of people know as fallow.
Yep.
So we can scratch that itch relatively well here because one, there's an abundance of fallow, but two, we've figured out how to pattern them and habitats and their preferred sort of bedding areas and all that sort of stuff in relation to water and feed and all that sort of shit. So we don't struggle super hard with the fallow.
Yep.
The Samba took us about 3-4 years to drop one, and the Baron managed to do so last year. Mm-hmm. A nice little stag, so that was really cool. I managed to get a doe on the last day, but the Baron took a really nice shot, cross gully shot, and knocked over a little stag for us. So that was pretty cool. But like a lot of other hunters, it's more about just getting out there and spotting them than pulling the trigger, really,
Yeah.
Especially when you're living out of a backpack and, eating bloody freeze-dried food and, sleeping with no seats and you're just doing it rough,
Yeah.
It's good to, if you can actually get eyes on some, you're doing something right. So, you get a kick out of that as well.
Yeah, fantastic.
But yeah.
Yeah, very.
Sorry, mate.
No, go for it. I mean, we're 3 hours away and on a delay. That's just the way it is. South Australia's slow in the internet world. Not as slow as Hay, though. All good.
Yeah, well, but, Hay has got some excellent long-distance shooting opportunities, I tell you.
Not wrong. Absolutely, mate.
Nothing but flat ground out there, so you can shoot as far as you like.
You guys have found a little bit of interest in the long range sort of gear, haven't you? Beyond just the sport.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I think when I've come on and done an interview with you before, I think I've sort of told your regulars that I actually did a couple of courses through you.
Mm-hmm.
Way back in the day, you and Southern Shooters, I think it was.
It was back then.
Yeah, and so I've had it in my mind for a long time and sort of always enjoyed it, but I never really pursued it. Mm-hmm. But Greg has been the catalyst for us to sort of go down that road again.
Yep.
Because Greg, much like yourself, is quite accomplished with all the the necessary calculations and the way that you set up your applied ballistics and the way that you can, make sure that your loads are right and all this sort of stuff. So he's very much been the catalyst for that.
Yep.
Not the sort of extreme long range that you do, we're sort of comfortable out to about 900 now.
Mm.
And that sort of suits us,
Yeah, that's a comfortable distance to be operating within for sure. And good on the game and all that sort of thing. So it's not a bad, not limit, but not a bad position to be on. Yeah, well and truly, man.
Yeah. I mean, but although in saying that, you probably wouldn't find us having a shot at, just sort of taking ill-conceived shots at 900 for Samba or whatever. I mean,
no, absolutely. We spent a whole weekend talking about that, didn't we? Didn't we? Recently.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, my personal preference is to get up close and personal.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, as close as possible. So, and most of the decent I've shot have been within, inside 50.
Yeah, and because you've got a fair history in bow hunting, don't you, Simo?
Well, yeah, but I'm not that great a bow hunter.
You're just showing off behind you. Yeah, I got it. It's just there for looks.
Yeah. But I just want to, as I said to you before we started, it's just so my office looks like less of a wank den.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, we all can see through it, mate. We all know it's staged. Yeah.
Well, it takes the viewer's eyes off the fold-up bed down there. You see.
Well, I'm much the same, mate. No part of my house is ever this clean behind me at all. Ever. I've managed to keep this I don't enter this corner outside of the 1 bit hours a day that I sit here, and outside of that I'm banned from this corner. Otherwise, it'd be ruined. You should see the rest of the room. Anyway, it's what we do.
Well, mate, I was just going to say it's looking bloody great, that studio of yours now.
This is just a photo. This is just a photo behind. I'm on a green screen.
It's a green screen.
That's why none of it moves. Oh, very good, mate. Very good. Well, we're getting a couple of questions come through on the chat, so let's hit up a couple of those. Let's just make sure we haven't missed any.
Yeah, right.
Elizabeth says, I took 4 years to get my first Samba, worth the 4 years. Simo, have you ever used dogs for hunting?
Yeah, I actually have a Vizsla. She's how old is she now? She's almost 2. Mm-hmm. And I had training assistants. Well, I actually was shown how to train her by Daniel from Ultimate Hunting Australia.
Yep.
And he's actually now gone to training and breeding his own line of English pointers. And they are absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. They are phenomenal. If he's got a YouTube video, channel, mm-hmm. and I'm pretty sure it's Ultimate Hunting Australia. He's also on Instagram and he's on the usual the usual social media stuff.
Yep.
But his dogs are absolutely phenomenal. He's based in Benalla. But he provided me with a framework and supported me in training her. And she's really, really good. And what I primarily use her for is just finding active game trails.
Okay.
So I'll go out with her, and if she gets really interested in an area and there's a game trail, then that's where I'll punch into the bush. Yeah. Generally, I'll just walk along the track and wait till she gets really excited, and then I'll punch in the bush and see if there's a good game trail and look for scrapes or anything like that.
Yeah.
And that's generally where I'll chuck a trail camera out or something like that.
Very good.
But she's still too silly. She's still too silly to hold point on a deer.
Yep.
She's still sort of a little bit. She still has that urge to chase, and because I'm based in the city, I didn't really have a huge opportunity to get her onto deer. So, mm-hmm. So now I'm working on that.
Cool.
And getting her a bit more steady. But I mean, she's really great to sort of locate hotspots. Yeah, that's how I use her primarily. I'm hoping when she gets a bit older, because Vizslas are really typically take a long time to mature. So as they say, sort of 2 years plus. So
now I can see why you relate to this dog. Yeah, okay, makes sense now. Makes sense.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, I'm almost act like an adult at 46.
Almost.
So.
You're on your way, Simon. I'm very proud of you, I must say. Anthony asked, what pack do you run? One that fits enough rum in it, so I guess.
Yeah, well, I was actually running Outdoorsman's Optics Hunter for a couple of years. That was really, really nice, but I had trouble getting it to fit me properly. So if I had anything more than, say, 22, 23 kilos in it, it was just a bitch to carry.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing too was it was just a little bit too small for a week-long backpack trip.
Yep.
So I sold that, and the backpack that's in behind me there now is a Burlestock V90 Battleship. And it's huge, but it fits me like a glove. So the waist belt's really nice. It's got really good lumbar support, and it really fits me like a glove. So that's one of the things that you just can't really. It's a bit of a luck of the draw unless you've actually tried a pack and carried a heap of weight in it. If you've got a mate who does have a pack and is keen to let you mess about with it, because you need to fit them to your frame fit the frame to you, and then I recommend spending a long time with a lot of weight in it. So, doing 5 or 6 or 7 Ks, because last year I ended up doing my back end because of the pack. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Another one along kit and probably sitting beside you. What bow setup are you using currently?
It's a 70-pound elite tempo with Fast Eddie XL sight, just a 2-pin, which I like.
Yep.
Because I've got my pins set at 20 metres and 30 metres, and then if you got a longer shot, you can dial.
Okay. Cool.
And I'm just running some Axis 340 spine arrows at 29 inch and a 125 grain broadhead.
Last time we caught up, you were showing off your little trigger mechanism for it. That was he was pretty proud of that.
Yeah. Well, I just bought it, and that actually, it's funny. It's one of those things. It's like, I guess it's like for a lot of blokes getting a Timney. The release is just so important.
Yeah.
So your shot follow through and everything, it really hinges on the release you're using. So I'm really, really happy with that purchase, even though it cost me about the same as a bloody Timney. I'm really, really happy with it. Yeah, it's a Carter Wise Choice 4-finger.
Very, very good, mate. Very good. Now, you were alluding to the fact that you have lost access to some properties or something. Something's happened. What's the story of that?
Well, it's mainly COVID related.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, so they're in the southeast of South Australia, but we're all being encouraged to stay at home, and it's pretty much been ordered now.
Pretty close. Yeah.
And wives and partners, not really keen on us traipsing all over South Australia and shooting deer. So that's out for the time being, but we were really spewing because we had a great property lined up for a week and a half ago, the Baron and I.
Yeah,
we
right.
Just couldn't get down to.
Bugger.
Because it was because it was the sort of peak of that sort of pre-COVID getting to Adelaide and borders being closed, and it was, everyone was just sort of not quite sure what was happening, and there was a bit of a beat up in the media and stuff, and we're all a little bit worried. So we just weren't able to get there. So
yeah, okay,
that's
all right.
Yeah, so it's sort of bottled us up for now.
Are you
bottled us up for now?
Are you still able to get out and shoot where you are? Are you sort of within appropriate distance to be able to wander out and go for a crack?
Well, I can. Yeah, I'm lucky here because I've got access to some private bush blocks.
Yep.
So the owners of those are quite happy for me to pop into there and have a look around.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, I ran into a little mob of fallow, a little 1 or 2 year old stag with a couple of his girlfriends, but that's all I've seen. And it is dry as a bloody dead dingo's donger up here. Mate. It is still dry as anything. So not a lot of feed, not a lot of water.
Yep.
These blocks that I've got access to don't hold water.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably hazard a guess that that's why I'm not seeing any action there at the moment. But I haven't heard croaking or anything this year.
Okay.
I've had reports that it's a really, really good rut this year, though. So.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So.
That's I guess where did I hear it? Some guys are talking about maybe another a year. If we have a season off of hunting deer in Victoria, particularly with the bushfires, we may be in some ways better off for it. Of course, we all want to go out and hunt, but it's going to bring a bunch of deer back into it, perhaps. I don't know. Have you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been sort of talking to a couple of well-known blokes over in Victoria, and they're sort of the same opinion.
Okay.
Especially now the GMA has closed down.
Yep.
Public land hunting over there. It's going to be a whole season of no pressure. So one thing we do know about deer is when there's no hunting pressure, they go back to their sort of instinctual behaviours. So
okay, yeah, I guess
which means there's going to be some really, really obvious ways to pattern deer when it all comes back on again. Because often, if you got a high pressure area, they're going to go nocturnal. You're going to see them right on dusk, and you'll see their ass right at first light. So, in these high pressure areas, I think average blokes who don't get out very often are probably going to get a crack. So
I mean, that's
including us, because we only get over once a year. So.
Yeah, and I guess that's the thing, is trying to find some silver linings in the current situation. Is a year, is a season long enough for those habits to break, or is you're talking to guys who know what they're talking about?
Yeah, well, I didn't ask that specific question, but that's what these blokes are anticipating.
Okay.
I know with fallow, they'll, if they're not under pressure, they're not getting hunted. They'll just wander around broad daylight. They're not too fussed about cover and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
I don't know enough about sandbar to answer that definitively, but that's the anticipated result of a year off. The year of no pressure. But of course, this is why we sort of walk a couple of days into the wilderness, so we can see them under no pressure.
Yep. Yeah.
But some of the places we've hunted in the past get hammered pretty hard, and sometimes they're on they'll be on the verge of an area where they can hunt with hounds. And then you won't see them in the daylight. No way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So it'd be interesting to find out, and also after the bushfires, I think from the reading I've done about sort of zones that have been burnt out, takes 18 months to 2 years before you start getting the regrowth that the deer really like.
Yep. Gotcha. Okay.
But I heard a story. I think it was Rob Fickling from Beyond the Divide.
Yep.
I think it was one of his biggest deer that he's got to date was in a regrowth area.
Yeah, wow.
Because the regrowth has got all the right nutritions in it for antler growth, and it builds really good bone and really good deer. So there you go.
Yeah, fascinating. Interesting to know. Interesting to we certainly see some benefits of less human things happening and bits and pieces returning and stuff. So I'm curious to see. I mean, we don't have to be happy about the things being closed and shut and that sort of thing, but it's interesting to see what may come out of it that is positive. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got a couple more questions.
Absolutely.
Just a heads up, Nick Halliwell has joined the chat. So prepare yourself.
Okay.
From Ian, how many kilos did you pack away last trip, and did you use everything you took? What things are you saving the most weight by not taking the next hunt? Now, I know you've delved into this fairly significantly on the podcast.
We have.
I'm going to direct Ian too for that information. But maybe if there's one or two things that were the big difference for you.
Yeah. Well, probably going back 3 years.
Yep.
We were carrying spare torches and bloody spare knives and bloody spare this and spare that, 4 pair of socks. Like I say, we were carrying, with no water, I think we were probably up around 32 kilos or something, which is for us and our fitness level at that point was ridiculous. Ridiculously overloaded. So now I've got my pack stripped right back and my kit stripped right back to the bare essentials. And I think it's about 19 kilos in the pack that I'm carrying with boots and rifle and everything on my body.
Yep.
About 8 kilos.
Okay.
And that's with a week's worth of food, because your food will shake out. If you want 3,000 calories a day, it's around about a kilo.
A kilo a day?
Yep. A day, for 3,000 calories, and you still go to bed starving.
Yeah, right. Wow.
And then you got, say, 8 or 9 on your body with a rifle and ammo and binos and boots and stuff like that, and 20 or something in your pack. And then you might add 3 to 4 litres of water, depending on your water source.
Yep.
So previously I was looking at 30 plus kilos with no water.
Yep.
And then plus what I was carrying in my body.
Yeah,
It's just too heavy. For a 45-year-old bloke, it's just too heavy.
Yeah, with a bad back as well.
Yeah, I mean, we have sort of tailored our approach now to because last trip, and you'll see it in our hunt wrap up. I think it was about 6 or 7 or 8 episodes ago. We burned ourselves out on the first day because we pushed up to a massive ridge line. I think we climbed 700. We came down about 900 metres, and then we went up 700.
Yep.
Only to find there's no water.
It's a welcome
sight. So because we're expecting to find soaks or we had all sorts of contingency plans. We also couldn't go any further over the ridge because the dogwood, we couldn't get through it. So we had to turn around and go straight back down. But because we didn't have time to recover up on the plateau we're on, because we ran out of water. I think the Baron had like 250 mil left, and I had 500 mil left, and I think Greg had about the same.
Wow.
So we had to turn around and go straight back down because the anticipation was to get up the top, drop off the back, and get down to the water source, which we could see from our planning, but we just couldn't get there.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that was the big issue we had, and even with a super pared down kit, we were still buggered by the time we got to the bottom.
Yeah, so, I bet. That's yeah. I mean, I struggle walking to the post office with a few packages to send out. So I'm just getting tired listening.
Yeah.
To you,
well, I mean, yeah. You've got a dicky back as well, so you know.
Oh yeah, no, I'll use that as the excuse. Yeah, that's the only thing I was worried about.
That's the olive branch, Rusty.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, my back was playing.
Yeah.
Oh, very good, guys.
Yeah.
For those who are watching, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining in. If you've got any questions for Simo, chuck them into the chat and we'll pass them on to him. Wanted to let you know that tonight is our Zoom hangout. So if you want to, if you're free after the show, we'll put some numbers up at the end of the show and you can jump in the Zoom room and we'll just yak away and see what's going on, just hang out with each other and that sort of stuff. So that'll be happening after the show, a couple minutes afterwards. And also we are about 5, 6 guys away from hitting 3,000. So if you happen to be watching and not subscribed, we would love for you if you would subscribe. That would be amazing. And also, for Simo's benefit, hit like because we're a little low on likes tonight. Simo, your previous competition, smashing at the moment. But that's only because we haven't asked for it. Everyone else was desperate enough to ask for it, and you've just been like, I don't care. I don't value my worth on likes, just on podcast listens. So
I think everybody's. I was going to say everyone's probably waiting for the dick tricks to start.
That's in the Zoom chat afterwards. We got to tease them with something. What's it been? How long the Honey HQ been around for now? 3 years? At a guess?
3 years, mate. Yeah.
Time frame. And
we're like knocking on the door of 3 years next month, I reckon.
Fantastic. Yeah, and I mean, I bet that's been. I've been privy to a bit of that journey, but I bet that's been really interesting. But you would have met a whole stack of people and some interesting stuff. Has there been sort of any really interesting things that has led to that you didn't expect 3 years ago?
Oh, mate, even just the caliber of people we've met through doing it.
Yep.
Because we look, you know us really well, and we do not take ourselves seriously at all. We're not trying to be, we're not trying to be anything. We're just being ourselves, right? So we're not trying to be heroes or experts in anything. We're just open to exchanging information. That's the way we sort of entered into it, and just a campfire conversation. That's it.
Yeah.
And the caliber of people that we've met has been absolutely fantastic. Made some really good mates out of it, and continue to do so. And I've sort of good mate of the shows and mine now, Sharpie, the duck shooter.
Yep.
Taking me under his wing, quack quack, and sort of he sort of teach me all the ins and outs of duck shooting. So that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
But along with quite well known guys like Rob Fickling and Daz and from Into the Mountains, and Jamie Mountain Man and Zed and a couple of his mates, and we just sort of
fantastic.
Discovered this really awesome networking community of just regular blokes that just love doing what we do.
I think one thing I've really enjoyed listening to Hunting HQ. One of the things that I really love about it is that annual hunt, and it feels to me, being a listener but also being a podcast host and being behind the scenes a little bit, of having like this annual event. And it certainly feels, it doesn't feel like the three of you guys are going hunting. It feels like you and about however many hundred people plus thousands are hunting with you, because that they, like, sitting there listening to it. I mean, what podcasts are like. They're like a one-way conversation where you feel like it's two-way, but no one listens to you when you're sitting there listening to one and talking back to you. And so you actually feel very engaged, and you guys do a really great job where it feels like I'm getting prepared for the hunt that you guys are going on as well, because you do it so openly. You do it. You talk about everything that's going on, all the stupid things that you did, and all the really intelligent things that you did, and the changes you made, and then to have that as an annual, almost podcast highlight that takes up 6 months of the year, really, working towards it and then recovering from it. Maybe 9 months if you're recovering. But do you know what I mean? And yes. that's I just want to encourage you, keep doing that, because that's very unique to your podcast. And I think it's a really great way, and I'm sure others listening find that same engagement.
Yeah, thanks, Rusty. That's really nice to hear that, because we are in Adelaide. Well, for the most part, I'm sort of mid-north now, but we don't have the luxury of just being able to nick into the Dandenong Ranges or nick up to the high country or whatever.
Yeah.
So it does take that long for us to get organised, and that's exactly the amount of energy and sort of focus we put into it. So yes, that's really good feedback.
Yeah.
It's a huge undertaking. It's expedition worthy. But that's it's good feedback. I did have a point to make, but
I lost it. You take your listeners. I guess my point is that you take your listeners on a journey through that, and no doubt a stacker like it's not something that I particularly plan on doing. I think it's wonderful that it happens. Not my thing. But I get excited about it, and I get excited to hear like the gear you're running and the equipment. I'm not probably ever going to buy any of that gear. But I still feel it's very engaging. I'll say that. We have some more questions for you, by the way. From Sheldrak, he's asked, military camouflage or hunting camouflage? Is there an advantage to either, or none, or both, or wear nothing, or wear everything?
Well, Greg will tell you, he hunted in Ozcam, being an ex-army bloke, he hunted in Ozcam forever.
Yep.
And he shot, don't even know how many goats he shot over the years. He's shot tons. But I reckon multicam works really well in the Australian bush. I've at the moment I'm running a combination of Kuiu Vias and some Hunter's Element. And the Kuiu Vias is the brown, and this works. I find this works really, really well.
Yep.
Even in South Australia here, where it's a bit dry, to the high country where it's a bit stony, it works really well.
Yep.
But the other thing I find works great for me is the dissolved veil from Hunter's Element.
Okay.
Really good shit.
Yeah.
I ran Ozcam for years as well. So it just depends. Buy the best you can afford of whatever it is.
Yep.
You know.
Generally good advice. Generally good advice.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a million Samba shot in a red and black bloody flannel shirt.
Yeah. Not wrong. Not wrong. Right. Next question for you, because I think you've answered that one well. Henry is one of our regulars, and he is a younger lad, and he has a question which I think we've all been there for. How often do you go out for a hunt and get nothing, and does it annoy you?
I would go out. This last couple of weeks, I've probably been out half a dozen times, including overnight, and getting smashed by march flies and bloody mozzies and sandflies and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
And I've seen deer, haven't got anything. I would say 90% of the time you don't get anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So if you go out, even if you look at dudes like Aaron Snyder, who works for Kafara International, I'm a fanboy for Aaron. He's a good bloke. Mm-hmm. He's got a very similar attitude to us. He just tells it like it is, and he's not trying to be a hero. But he'll take an incredible amount of animals through the year, but he also fills his off season with scouting. And he's out there every day, scouting, cameras, doing all that sort of stuff, practicing. Right. He's doing a hell of a lot of preparation. So they'll go out and strike out as well. So I go out assuming to strike out, and if I get eyes on a deer, it's a good day for me.
Yep.
And then if I bowl one over, then I'm even happier.
Very good point. Yeah, I mean my background's a lot more in spotlighting, and you're a lot likelier. I don't think that's good English. You're a lot more likely to get game doing that. Game animals. You might, but deer hunting for the few times I've been around it. It's you go out for a walk, and if you get something, that's a bonus, from what I can see. So
yeah, and most guys that get bitten by the deer bug, they're fascinated by deer anyway.
Yep.
So I was at a mate's place today from the ADA up here. He happens to be a beekeeper, so I was grabbing some honey. But he's got a red doe and a little fellow buck in one of his paddocks. And we were just out there feeding them, and you can just stand out there and look at them for hours. And the thought never even comes in your mind of shooting them.
Yep.
They're fascinating animals. So most deer guys are just absolutely smitten with them. And that's very much the case for me. They're fascinating.
Yeah, wonderful.
They're a mystery.
Very good.
And I think the phrase you were looking for there, Rusty, was a lot more likelier.
Tons more likelier. Heaps more. Yeah. Very good. Is there anywhere in the Vic High Country that is a good starting point for a new hunter?
That's a really good point. The High Country is where we go. We're sort of 1,400 metres. We're high. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would be inclined to have a look around places like Mansfield, or where you've got some foothill, sort of a little bit more accessible country.
Yep.
Because you're not going to accidentally get lost and freeze to death, or a rescue is easy from there. Mm-hmm. A good mate of ours, Love Tunnel, was not too far from civilization and snapped his bloody foot off just about. Was hanging by a thread, and had to get the SES in there and get airlifted and all sorts of crazy shit. And that was close to civilization. So if you're just starting out, it's a hard question to answer, because I don't know we need to know about your bushcraft and stuff like that. But have a look around places like Mansfield, and I would really recommend, if you're just starting out as a deer hunter, get in touch with your local ADA, because you get a lot of guys in there that are immensely experienced, and their interest is keeping the sport alive. And you know, they're very happy to, most blokes anyway, they're very happy to share knowledge.
Yep.
So that's where I'd start.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Very good. Now, I don't know if you've seen the show before, but we usually try and do some memes, because if there's one thing Corona has given us is an influx of quality memes. So I'll let you know.
Yes.
I'm gonna ping you the first one. If you got your phone on you, I'll message them to you. We have a rating system out of 10 alpacas. So 10 is the highest, and 1 alpaca is the lowest. So I'm looking for a rating on these memes.
Have you seen this one?
I have. We'll go full screen. Go again. We'll go full screen on that one.
All right, hang on. I have to pull it up. Come on, you bastard.
I thought that's what you're doing on there. I thought that's what he's doing.
Can you read that?
I can.
It's hard to read that text.
It's hard to read.
Anyway, is it hard to read?
We'll let people delve into that one. They can go Google that one. That's good fun. All right. I'm sending you the first one. We'll jump across here. So check your phone, and you should have that one up in a moment.
All right. Here we go.
Talking about life in isolation.
Well, that's Eminem, isn't it? Yeah.
That is Eminem. What my fridge sees all day, because this is now a podcast, so I've got to let them know that we're looking out from a fridge. What my fridge sees all day, it's Eminem saying, "Guess who's back again." They never work when you explain it, but we've got to do it anyway, because people do listen to this on a podcast.
That's a 2. Was it axolotls or was it?
Let's go with axolotls tonight. That's even better. All right, how many axolotls?
2 axolotls.
2 axolotls. Okay, no worries. Good. All right, sending you the second one through now. This one will come across on podcast. All right. Just like that, having a mask, rubber gloves, duct tape, plastic sheeting, and roping your trunk is okay.
Like that's a 4.
It's a
4 axolotls for me.
4 axolotls. Well, the M&M one's getting a -10, which is pretty harsh. 10 alpacas, 7 shady llamas. It's almost a zoo in here tonight. It's on. All right. Well, I've saved it. We're going a bit dark tonight, actually, with some of these, but I've saved the best one for last, I think. I hope. So this is the third one coming through now, Simo. This is a good one. So this is a photo of Hannibal Lecter saying, "When the food runs out, we'll still have each other," with a wonderful, wonderful look on his face. Just before we get to your rating on that one, for the prior one, the duct tape one, we had 7 shady llamas, 5 llamas, 7.5 rapey axolotls, 4.5 llamas. Anyway, what about this one? When the food runs out, we'll still have each other. What do you rate this one for in axolotls?
Do we have any fava beans and a nice bottle of Chianti is my question.
We needed to go down well, yeah.
Nice. That's a 5. That's a 5 for me. I love that.
5 axolotls out of 10.
Yeah. Oh, 5 axolotls. Oh no! Oh, is it out of 10? No, 7.
Oh no,
8 at least.
Oh, okay. So all your ratings were out of 5. We'll stick with 5.
Sorry.
Okay. Oh, this is 10 out of 10 for this one. We got 4 out of 10 for the first one, and 5 out. No, whatever it was.
The M&M stays at 2.
Stays at 2. Okay.
Yeah. Just like that, having a mask, rubber gloves, duct tape, etc. That can go up to 7.5.
Okay. 7.5 axolotls. Yeah. Yep, and then the Hannibal letter led to her one sitting on 5. Fantastic. That's all.
Hannibal smashed it.
Fantastic. Oh, you've disappeared off the screen for some reason. All right, anyway, that was we have a couple more questions to jump back into, but if there's one thing that COVID has given us, it is some wonderful memes. Some wonderful memes.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure when I mention the big black African fella, everyone will know who I mean.
I don't know. Yeah, I've seen the memes involved. I have no context of what that's relating to, but
I don't know. But he just turns up everywhere. He's fantastic.
Saw him on a bottle of hand sanitizer the other night. Anyway, I think Birchie sent me that one. All right, now there are some more questions kicking about. Less involved, anyway, less involved with memes. We'll just say. Nick has a question for you. Arrows. Do you go all out and custom make everything, or are you a basic arrows but quality tip kind of guy?
I because I'm a details man, I have to control everything. So,
yep.
So, I'm probably borderline OCD. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But no, I fletch them. I put the wraps on. I do everything.
Do the works. Okay.
Yeah. So it's very similar to reloading away.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. What else have we got in there? There's all sorts of... Ian says he hasn't heard Simo swear yet. He's disappointed. Do you want to fix that for
him?
Oh,
fucking hell.
There we go. Problem solved. Nicely done. Right. There's some ratings coming through. We had 5 silent axolotls, 7 nude alpacas. The guys in the chat get real creative with some of their ratings. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's really good. I enjoy it.
That's good. A fucking ripper, mate. Fucking hell. Is that fucking mad cunt Ian from Melbourne? Is it?
That is
shot show. Yeah, g'day,
mate. Do you cry when you lose an arrow, Simo?
Sometimes. It depends if it's a shit shot and I don't. You know, if I've put an arrow through a goat, say, and then I lose the arrow, I'm not too fast.
Okay.
But if I bloody fuck up my shot process and just do something stupid, then I do cry.
Oh, fair enough. I can't argue.
Well,
with that.
you're talking for a decent broadhead. So 3 decent broadheads is about $45. Mm-hmm. These Axis shafts I'm shooting are 160 for 12. So it's a bit of an investment.
I have no context of which to take that in. So is that on the more expensive side or?
It's not top shelf. Well, it's a mid shelf offering, but it's a really good solid hunting option.
Yep. Okay.
So, but broadheads are about $15 a piece, and shafts are about the same.
Yep.
It's a $30 investment.
Very good. As one of the guys in the chat's visiting a relative in hospital, never good, mate. I hope things are okay and things do improve. That's always sad to hear that, whether it be coronavirus or other related. None of it is good. So hopefully things improve there. There was another question there. 3 or 4 fletch for your arrow. I don't even know what a fletch is. Can you enlighten me?
Yeah. Yeah, see the green things on the...
Hang on a sec, let me change the shot for you. Yes, I see the... they're fletchers, are they?
Yeah, so a vein or fletching. So I run 3.
3s.
My jig, I can do 4, but for these big... I'm running these big Max Hunter veins, and they'll steer a broadhead no worries, so I don't really need 4. My good mate Rossi runs 4... boning blazers, and they'll leave the bow very, very. They're super stable. They're super stable, but they tend to slow his arrows down a bit. So that's why I haven't gone there. But these Max Hunters seem to steer the broadheads really well. So
good.
That's why I just stuck with 3.
If it works, if it's working, that's the main thing. Very good.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And so when's the next episode of Hunting HQ coming out? When are we expecting to see that?
We did one the other night, but the Baron was at the controls of the roadcaster,
so that may
and he'd been getting stuck into his 60% to Hampton Estate, so he was a bit of a state actually. so I'm waiting. He's going to put it in a Zoom file and email it up to me, and then I'll edit it. Yep. But it was a bit of an experiment, really, because we were sort of all in separate locations.
Yeah, and it changed. Like, so I do a couple of podcasts where we are in separate locations, and then the precision shooting podcast we're all in the room, and neither is better or worse, but they are certainly different. And I think if you try and take the one where you're all in the room and put everyone else in a separate room, it's different. It is different.
The dynamic changes, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that you can go from all being in separate rooms to into a room, and it's easier to go that way than to go the other way. I believe so. I think
absolutely.
I can agree with the precision shooting podcast. We effectively at the moment are on hold because this is going out. This is now its own podcast channel. By the way, if guys are watching Impact Dynamics Live, you can find it on Spotify and other bits and pieces. Or you've got the entire Hunting HQ back catalogue if you haven't seen that yet or heard that yet. So go and check that out. It's perfect time to get involved. I believe we've probably got time for one more question, which is here. Knives for backpack.
Far away.
Knives. What is the one knife to rule them all? Obviously a stump knife. And do you carry a steel at all?
I like Ben's. Ben does a really nice little drop point hunter, which I use a lot.
That's Ben.
And I just use a little easy lap from Stump Knives. Yeah. He's another SA bloke, so we're sort of really into supporting local business. So
awesome.
He's made us a number of knives. But that one I really like. It's a 110 mil blade, just a drop point hunter with a G10 handle. The other thing I carry is an Eagle Hawk. I can't find it at the moment, but it's just like one of those ultralights with the removable scalpel blade, which is a bit like a Havilon design, but it's just like a laser cut steel handle.
Yeah,
I run that a lot too. But if I'm camping or something, I'll definitely take Ben's drop point hunter with me.
Yeah, fantastic.
If I need to do a little bit of field craft, whittle up a couple of sticks for the billy or whatever, I'll take that for sure.
Yeah, nice, mate. Nice. Excellent, guys. Well, Simo, thanks very much for coming on. Are you hanging around at all for a little bit of Zoom?
Yeah, I will. I've got until about I've got about 10 minutes because then I've got to get on the parenting wagon.
Yeah, no problems, mate. Well, easy done. Well, guys, we're going to finish up. We'll wrap up quickly so I can jump into the Zoom chat. If you're watching in the chat, I've put the details up for the meeting there. And I'll be on the screen in a moment. Simo, thanks so much for your time and coming on board with us. It's a wonderful.
Worries, mate. It was good fun as usual.
Chat, and no doubt, depending on how this all goes, we may do it again at some point, and we might even see if we can rope in some of the other Hunting HQ crew in at some point and get them all on. Actually, I don't know if you guys would be up for it, but a Hunting HQ Q&A. How'd you feel?
That'd be fun, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just to throw you on the spot like that at the end of the show, but, that would be good fun. Anyway, cheers, Simo. We'll catch you in the Zoom shortly, guys. If you're, thanks so much for watching. Again, use the code ID Live number 5 at Projectile Warehouse to keep the show going, keep things happening, which is wonderful. There are a couple other sponsors coming on board, probably as of next week, which will be exciting to see. The Zoom chat is going live, so if you are watching, jump in that. Come hang out with us and have a little chat. There's already a couple of guys lined up, ready to rock and roll in that, which is awesome. Thanks very much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is reloading night. We've got Simon Plush, who will be coming on and talking about, I don't actually know exactly what he's talking about, but he started rattling off all these ideas and bits and pieces of like, we could talk about this and this and this. I'm like, yeah, they definitely sound like reloading things. So we're going to get really in depth with that, which will be excellent. I'm sure it's good. I just didn't read what he said. Anyway, we'll talk about that tomorrow night. It'll be really good, and look forward to seeing you guys there. And Friday night, I haven't announced who's coming on Friday night. Anyway, someone Ben put up a video today on the Long Gun Project with a connection to Lithgow Arms. He went and toured the factory. One of the people in the video is going to be on Friday night. Look forward to it. Catch you then, guys. Cheers.